Regarding the Israel-Palestinian crisis, how does this affect the moving forward of the Brics? The Israel and Palestine crisis, horrible, heart-wrenching. But a question that I haven't heard asked that needs to be is, where do the Brics play in all of this? What can they do? What will they do? Well, like and subscribe to this video, click that notification button, and we're going to go over that today. Thank you all for watching. The Israel-Palestinian war, it's no big secret. I saw the news on October 7th. I saw the bombs going towards Israel. Massive display of bombs going towards Israel in this great blitzkrieg. And all I could think is, oh my God, what have they done? That was the dumbest thing I had ever seen since 9/11. It was like, I knew it. I knew hell is going to be unleashed on the guilty, and more so than that, the innocent are going to suffer the most. I was in shock. I was thinking, what was going through our minds at that time is this the beginning of World War III, or is it finally the world going to band together with an army of one and engage together in a common goal of peace in that region? Well, after a few days of watching the UN summit meetings, and I realized the world is at odds. The narratives are changing. Politics once again superseding the world's desire for peace on earth. When religious wars are determined by politicians, there is no end. There's only a delay and fomentation for the next slew of bombs to be coming and sold and weapons gone out in masses. Then I thought about the position that the world is in right now. Africa's revolution happening without loss of lives, God bless them all. Great leaps in progress that have been made over the last year. What will become of all of it? Stabilization is the key ingredient to entering the Brics. They want a stable currency. So Israel and Palestine were both looking over the option at the time. They're out for the time being. But the way certain countries act will be a determining factor on their applications to joining the Brics as well. I mean, this is where Iran could literally be the status quo of regulating policies during wartime events. As crazy as that sounds, is the Brics neutral? Or are they just trying to become a more powerful world dominator? It's no secret that they want to rule over the West, and the majority of the world agrees that, hey, a new currency distribution, they're all for it. I'm for it. But non-military and or as human rights enforcement being a factor of that distribution, well, this is the ultimate test. Will they or can the Brics maintain a neutral stance when it comes to wartime and or even genocidal actions by a country that they're funding or helping to fund and loaning money to? I think it's a question that needs to be answered. Will the Brics really refrain from choosing sides during altercations? They have already proven to continue supporting Russia during wartime, and it speaks volumes, really, because Russia has proven its capabilities to maintain relatively good economic stability given their situation, meaning it's having some financial woes, but under the circumstances, they haven't gone belly up by any means. But even Palestine, on the other hand, has just literally collapsed overnight and doesn't seem to have a pot to piss in at the moment. So my assumption is that Brics has to put their application on the bottom of the pile. It's on the back burner for now. I mean, what would you do again if, once again, the Brics isn't about human rights, right? It's about building a strong and stable currency, and they're not going to lose sight of that. And are the Palestinian people to blame for the most part? No. But for who they elected that would literally allow them to unleash bombs on Israel, well, who you elect matters. So some of them, yes, are to blame, and I'm not trying to be insensitive about that. I'm being 100% truthful and stating that you have to bear some responsibility for the leaders that you have. If you loan a few bucks to a man on the street and he goes off with your money and kills someone and he gets caught, beat up and stripped and killed himself, you're not getting paid back. So you're not going to loan money or hire a banker, for that matter, who loans your money to someone that puts themselves in a position to lose everything, especially if he has something of yours. You're going to loan money to someone who can afford to pay you back, even if they get into a brawl, whether they're good or bad. You just want to get paid back with some interest. It's business, not politics. And Al Jazeera was talking about the playbook of the Israel and Palestinians, both towards entering the Brics. So here we're going to get some clarification on this wonderful article written by Al Jazeera. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very interesting article. It even is more so interesting that it was written in August, before the bombs were thrown on Israel or before Israel attacked Palestine, showing us what the BRICS is about and where their role is with Palestine and Israel, and that there was some confusion or altercations going on already between Israel and Palestine. So with this, I hope you enjoy it. Like and subscribe. As you can see, on August 28th, 2023, it was written by Ahmad Al-Kharet of Global Political Analysis from Al Jazeera. Is BRICS really the lifeline Palestine needs? BRICS is pushing for direct talks between Israel and Palestine, but its members don't want to alienate Israel. Since Russia's full-fledged invasion of Ukraine in 2022, the geopolitics of the Middle East and North Africa region have been undergoing an upheaval. Most recently, Palestine has applied to join Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, BRICS blocs alongside 7 Arab countries: Algeria, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Morocco. At the grouping's Johannesburg summit in August, Saudi Arabia and the UAE and Egypt, along with Iran, Ethiopia, and Argentina, were formally declared as the next entrants into BRICS. Yet, while Palestine wasn't invited to the summit and is not among those who will join the grouping soon, BRICS could help bring, and in some ways already is bringing, the issue of Palestinian statehood to international center stage. After years of hiatus due to the abandonment of peace process by the United States and Israel, and Washington's emphasis instead on brokering peace normalization deals between Israel and Arab states, this is welcome. For while BRICS support for Palestine is not new, the recent context is. The Johannesburg summit concluded with a declaration calling for direct negotiations between Israel and Palestine based on international law and Arab peace initiative towards a two-state solution, leading to the establishment of a sovereign, independent, and viable state of Palestine. The text echoed that of the Palestinian-Chinese strategic partnership signed in June. Days before the summit, South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa emphasized support for Palestine's liberation. The Palestinian leadership has expressed support for the BRICS call to start direct negotiations with Israel and without U.S. involvement. The message to the U.S.: the era of American unilateralism is ceasing. Signifying the revival of the issue through the Arab Peace Initiative and backing the BRICS steps, Saudi Arabia appointed its first ever non-resident ambassador to Palestine Consul General in Jerusalem without consultation with Israel. On the Israel side, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expected to visit China in the coming few months, partly to discuss a China-Russia-led negotiation process with the Palestinians. Palestinian President Moab Abbas visited China in June, where he met Chinese President Xi Jinping, who iterated China's commitment to supporting Palestinian statehood. Netanyahu also visited China in May. In effect, BRICS countries are tactically rejecting the U.S. Abraham Accord-driven stance on Palestine. This is not to say they do not support the accords, but rather that they believe the absence of a clear, sustainable position on resolving the Palestinian issues will end the possibility of a two-state solution. Second, the Palestinians' warmer ties with BRICS come amid growing domestic crisis engulfing the very existence of Palestinian Authority. The Palestinian decision to drop the U.S. as a mediator is a demonstration of worsening ties with Washington and Israel. It reveals a belief by the Palestinian leadership that Washington and Israel's newly elected far-right government has decided to weaken or dismantle the PA and abandon the peace process in pursuit of annexing the occupied West Bank. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is August 2023. So the waters were already bubbling. Over the past few years, the U.S. has cut aid to the PA substantially. Israel continues to withhold tax revenues and the imposition of other sanctions that negatively affected the PA's ability to spend its budget, leading to salary payment delays and reductions for public servants and reduced public services. This has resulted in deteriorating public support for the PA and growing discontent with the status quo. The lack of a political horizon coupled with economic pressures and a domestic legitimacy crisis are increasing the internal tensions for the PA. Young Palestinian fighters are increasingly confronting what they see as excessive settler violence and encroachment on their communities in the West Bank. This has led to the clashes between them and the PA, which under the Oslo Accords conducts extensive security coordination with Israel, including preventing armed attacks. All of this is forcing the PA to seek in BRICS a vehicle for negotiations that can help it restore lost domestic support. Already, even before they get into the BRICS, people are asking the BRICS to jump into this beef that they're having. Given the continuing Russia influence in Syria and central Chinese role in mediating a rapprochement between Iran and Saudi Arabia, Palestine is already seeking to capitalize on the intensifying great power competition in its neighborhood to kickstart a new, non-aligned peace process. That is easier said than done. For the moment, BRICS support for Palestine remains mostly rhetorical. BRICS collectively or as individual nations has not declared any increase in aid for the PA. Palestinian Authority. Nor has the group been giving Israel any financial incentive to Israel to entice it to join negotiations. There is no question of the BRICS nations involving themselves militarily in the conflict. The BRICS bloc appears, for the most part, unwilling to tackle the key cause of Palestinian crisis: Israel's illegal occupation of the policies that global human rights groups have described as apartheid. Against that backdrop, it is natural to wonder if the solidarity extended by the BRICS to Palestine will stay symbolic and on paper. Israel's overwhelming military and economic power, coupled with unwavering support of the U.S. that it has, meaning that it will not be under any serious pressure to engage in direct negotiations. Israel also has strong ties with individual BRICS members, especially China, India, Russia, and there is no evidence to suggest that they will risk those ties to push Israel into talks. The Palestinian national divide will also hinder a potential success of any negotiations, even if they do occur. So even with Israel not wanting to join, the BRICS is still seeing a great divide with Palestine in itself, which means instability, and that's not what they need in the BRICS. Still, it's important to remember that the BRICS commitment to resolve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is in its nascent stage. Now, the bloc must be ready to deploy hard or soft power tools if it is to meaningfully emerge as a player capable of prodding Israel into direct negotiations. Without that, BRICS will not be able to prevent Israel from annexing the West Bank and abandoning the two-state vision. And the test could arrive for the grouping before too long. Hamas and Israel have been preparing for a multi-front war which both will claim the regional balance of power. In such a scenario, BRICS could play a greater and more meaningful role in ending the conflict. Now that we see the conflict and we're 2 weeks into it, they haven't stepped in. But this also lets us know that back in August, they were looking at a multi-front war. And here it is. In such a scenario, BRICS could play a greater and more meaningful role in ending the conflict. The question is, does it really want to? I personally don't think so. But what do you think? I don't think they should. I think they should maintain their neutrality in this and continue to build the stabilization of the currency. In my opinion, that's what they were made for. That's what they're to do. Take your heart out of the picture. Put your money on the table. What would you do? Hopefully this gives us a lot more information than we had before we watched the video. And if you did learn something today, please like, subscribe, and click that notification. We're going to keep you updated on what is going on with the BRICS in Africa, in Russia, around the world, the Middle East, United States. Everybody, we love you. Stay safe and God bless.